Hindsight being last year, probably shouldn't have said this. Next week, we conclude our series, Blessed For. Who knew? Hey everybody, welcome back to our series, Blessed For. And we've been working through the Beatitudes. And last time, when we were talking about purity, I talked about how this week was going to be the final one. And turns out, I guess I don't read my Bible enough, or I don't know enough things, because we actually have one more before the last one. And that is, blessed are those who work for peace. Blessed are those who work for peace. Or, as some of the other translations say, blessed are the peacemakers. Now, what is a peacemaker? What does it mean to work for peace? Well, that means a person who strives for people to get along, for unity, to push away division. The ones who strive to work hard to see that we all get along. To fight for those causes, to fight for the case of love. And I find this incredibly interesting that Jesus says, blessed are the peacemakers, because we live in a day and age where it seems like we can be divided over everything. Whether it's the food that we like, or the Marvel movies we watch, or just the different things. Like we find all kinds of ways to, get divided. In fact, oftentimes, and this is just something I've noticed, is when you're online or on social media or whatever, like there are debates that people will have. Previous ones like involved whether a dress was gold and white or black and blue, or like there's all kinds of things that people will like argue over. Oh, is this or whatever? Like or is a straw 2 holes or is it 1 hole? And like there are people who get really worked up on like these kind of questions and things. And I'm like, isn't it interesting that like nothing like radical is happening in the news? So we start to find ways to argue amongst each other, like is a hot dog a sandwich, or does pineapple belong on pizza? Like we will find the most frivolous or the silliest things to argue about simply because there wasn't anything big going on in the world at the time. But I think it's incredibly interesting that while we're naturally prone to argue or naturally prone to disagree, Jesus says, blessed are those who work for peace. Blessed are those who try to break away the divisions, to try to keep people together, to love one another, to bear with each other, to put up with each other. Blessed are those people who fight for that cause. Because remember, blessed. For they will be called children of God. To be called the child, like the children of God. The ones who fight for that cause, the ones who are going to go out of their way and they're going to push to make sure that people get along, that they're not going to get caught up in the frivolous things, and they're not going to, just get into semantics, because they want to see the cause of peace pursued and pushed forward on. I find that incredibly interesting, that God cares deeply about those who try to fight to make sure that other people get along together. And so, let me ask you a couple of questions. When it comes to, just life, do you find yourself to be a person who is argumentative or peaceful? Are you a person who tends to try to divide or unite? Are you the kind of person who, when they see divisions and quarreling and fighting and things like that, you want to step in, or do you want to just completely stay out of it? Do you fight for peace on a regular basis? I think for myself, I naturally try to, find the middle ground to try to get people to compromise. But there are other people who they draw hard lines in the sand and they're not going to be pushed anywhere. Where do you stand on this? Would you consider yourself a peacemaker? Do you say that you work for peace? And what ultimately does that say about you? So that's all I have. I promise you, next time it is our final video, our final series, and the final lesson in the Blessed For series. And I look forward to that next week. I'll see you guys then.